Hello students, welcome to our today's English lecture. In today's lecture we are going to discuss the first poem from our textbook Beehive. The title of our poem is The Road Not Taken, written by Robert Frost. Robert Frost is a renowned poet. He is an American poet and he is famous for his literary style. Okay, he is a realist. It means he writes insightfully on situations which arise in a day to day life. That is why he is called a realist. In this poem, The Road Not Taken, Robert Frost discusses about a dilemma which all of us face at one or the other time in our lives. The dilemma of choices. There are certain times in our life when we have to make a choice. We have to either select one option or the other. So, the whole poem, The Road Not Taken, deals with this question of choice. I'll give you certain examples. Say, after completing your school life, when you have to select a career, at that time you'll have to make a choice. Okay, you'll have to choose the profession that you want to enter into, whether you want to become a businessman or whether you want to join the corporate world. Choices, there'll be lots of choices and you have to choose one, and ultimately that choice will shape the rest of your life. Similarly, here in The Road Not Taken, Robert Frost is also talking about his own personal life when he was faced with a choice of continuing with the literary career or of selecting some other career option. This whole incident from his life he has put forth in the form of this poem, The Road Not Taken. So, first we'll go for stanza wise reading of the poem and then we'll go for line by line explanation. The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Here the poet Robert Frost, okay, he's traveling through the woods. He's out for a walk in the woods possibly, and uh, while going through the woods, he comes across a divergence on the road. The road that he is walking on, it suddenly splits, it suddenly forks out, it suddenly branches into two roads. Okay, so in this yellow wood here signifies the autumn season when all the leaves, okay, they dry out, the trees become barren. Okay, so the whole forest gives us a yellowish appearance. So the poet says two roads diverged in a yellow wood, possibly during the autumn season, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller, long I stood. So the poet reached at that junction and he looked down at both the roads and he started wondering which road to choose. Now he was a single traveller, so he could not discuss this issue with anybody else. And so, standing over there, he looked down both the roads as far as his eyes could see, just to try and understand what these roads hold for him. And he looked right up to the point where the road bent in the undergrowth. Okay, he looked at one of the roads and he looked right up to the end where the road bent into the undergrowth. Undergrowth here means the bushes and the grasses. Then he took the other just as fair. He looked at the second road now, then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted bare. Though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. He looked at the second road. The second road also appeared similar to the first one, but according to him, the second road was a better option. It had better claim. Why? Because this second road was grassy. It wanted wear. Wanted wear means grass was still growing on that road. It means very few human beings had passed on that road. So this road was not common. The first road seemed very common because there was no grass growing on the road and many people were using that road every day. But the second road was grassy. It had not worn out. And so this was not a common option. Though as far for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. Now, both the roads might have been used by the people, but the second road seemed less travelled. Stanza 3. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. So, on that morning, both the roads were lying there equally. Both the roads were covered in leaves. Okay, and none of these leaves had been trodden upon. Nobody had walked over these leaves and crushed them into black nothingness. So, I kept the first for another day. The poet made his decision. He decided to skip the first road and he decided to choose the second road. And he decided to keep the first road for some another day. But he knew that in life, once we have made a choice, we have to keep on forging ahead. We have to keep on working on that choice. And it is very rarely that we come back again to that position where we had to make the choice on the first occasion. So he knew that he was not possibly going to come back, but still, he kept that option open in his mind and he decided to go along the second road. Last stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. So the poet, with a sigh, he tells that ages and ages from now, means several years, okay, past this event in his life, one day he might be telling this story to all the people around him, that how one day when he was passing through the woods, he came across a divergence, he came across a junction where this road forked out into two roads. And he, on that day, he chose the road which was less traveled, okay, which was not common. And the position that he has reached in his life is all because of the choice that he had made on that day. And the choice of selecting the second road has made him so famous that day. Okay. So basically in this poem, the poet is talking about the dilemma of choices and how when we make one choice, it is very difficult to undo it and go back to the first choice. So the poet is also encouraging us to go for a choice, to go for career options, or to do something in life which very few people have done, which is not so common. Okay, so the poet through this poem is also giving us a message to become bold. Fine. That is the summary of the poem, The Road Not Taken. Thank you.